So good afternoon, everyone. Good morning if you're slightly further west than me. This is Irish, and this is the June PassWit webinar that we're bringing to you today. I appreciate that you're taking time out of your day to be with us today. If you're not already a member of the Women in Technology virtual group, I encourage you to join the group. You get newsletter once a month that may have a news article that you're interested in reading. We'll have some upcoming webinars or sessions presented by women that you could be interested in. And so if you're a member, at worst, you get a couple of emails from us, and we try not to spam you. Today's webinar has two sponsors, Century One and Redgate, and at the end of this session, I will pick two attendees to win Amazon gift cards. So that's always, make sure you stick around. You can always find webinars on our YouTube channel. You don't have to go to that channel. You can just go to search for PassWit. All of our sessions are there, going back at least 2.5 years. So take a minute to check that out. Our homepage, wit.sequelpass.org, wit.pass.org works as well. Follow us on Twitter @PassWit. Follow and use the hashtag PassWit, or when you find something that you think other women in the community will find interesting. And I love it when you guys share information with us. So I have people telling me that my audio is going out, and that's possible. I'm sorry. I'll get to Angela in just a minute, and maybe this won't happen, but it has to do with the office that I'm in today. So my apologies. So let's try to get through this as fast as we can and over to Angela. If you haven't already registered to attend Pass Summit, we'd love it if you could do so and use the PassWit code. We get credit for every person who attends using our code. We have some fantastic SQL Saturdays sessions coming up presented by women. First is Houston, and then Melbourne. Sydney has one, and then Paris coming up. Next in August, Bobby Jo Brighton presenting a soft skills session as well. Women in Tech, you can register at wit.pass.org. Tracy Baggiano is presenting for us next month, Introduction to the Query Store. She's done this in a lot of SQL Saturdays, and I really thought that this would be a technical session that people would be interested in. It's timely. But today's session, Becoming the Most Valuable Player, Soft Skills for the Market, is Angela Tidwell. And I'm really, really pleased that she has agreed to do this for us today. I saw this presentation when she did it in Nashville in January. I understand that she's done it a couple of times since, and I've gotten a lot of really positive feedback. So, Angela, if you are ready, I'm going to go ahead and make you the presenter.
Okay.
Take that whenever you're ready.
Okay.
And I will be muted, by the way, so that if for whatever reason I talk or whatever, it won't interfere with what you're doing. So it may take me a second to get unmuted if you have a question for me. But attendees, there is a box that you can type a question into if you have one. So just let us know. And I can see your screen, but it's in presenter mode. That's the screen that I see. So I see both slides.
Okay. Let's see what I can do about that. There we go. Is that better?
Absolutely. That's perfect.
Fantastic. Okay. I want to say thank you so much for everyone joining me today. This is Becoming the Most Valuable Player, Soft Skills for the Hard Market. A lot of people ask me, right off about why I say soft skills for the hard market. They say this isn't really a hard market. There are a ton of jobs out there. Well, I'm not really looking at how hard it is to find a job to apply for. Where it becomes a hard market is when you're up against someone who has the same technical ability as you. However, they have different or even better soft skills. So I thought that it would be a great idea to talk about soft skills. I want to make a quick important note. I'm not a Microsoft MVP, and this session does not tell you how to become a Microsoft MVP. We will discuss how to be an MPV in life, so a most valuable player in your life. I'm Angela Tidwell. You can find me on Twitter at Angela Tidwell. A real original name there, but it's mine and I take it. And you can email me at angelatidwell2736@gmail.com. I am the Marketing DBA at Procure SQL. I'm a proud wife and mother who loves hockey, football, and karaoke. And my most favorite thing to do is to make people laugh. I really do love a good story. And my personal motto is live as much life as possible. It's really important to me to laugh and to share along the way. We're going to talk today about the distance between you're hired and, oh, that's a solid no from me. You're asking yourself, is this a topic that'll be good for a seasoned vet or just a newbie? I'm here to tell you it's a topic that's good for everybody. I honestly think that soft skills is something that should be taught in high school to prepare you for the world, and as well as college, maybe a freshman course about just soft skills and how important it is to your career, and also just being a really good person. A lot of times I give this presentation and a lot of people are kind of giving me this look like they know everything, and I've thought to myself, you're smart. You're all smart. We're all very smart. But are you likable? Are you really the smartest person in the room? And is that important? I asked this in one of my presentations. I said, are you really the smartest person in the room? And I had two people emphatically say absolutely yes. And everybody chuckled because they were joking, even though they were extremely smart people. And I was like, well, is that important? And they stopped and they were like, is it important? Are soft skills really important? What are soft skills? We're going to talk about that today. Let's go ahead. We're going to chat for a minute. These questions were put out in Twitter yesterday. Think about the person you most admire in this world and what it is about them that you admire most. Usually when I do these presentations, I have a big board where I have people shout out answers and I write them down. But we decided to do it on Twitter this time. These are the answers that I got. Reliable, inspirational, clear communicator, consistent, inclusive, peaceful, present. I thought those were all really wonderful things. I like those people who are reliable and inspirational and uplifting and peaceful and present. They make my life better. But then I asked, think about the person you most despise in this world. I know that despise is a strong word, but it's a strong feeling. And a lot of times, we work with people who are extremely difficult, and we, as humans, feel these feelings. These are the answers that I got. Arrogant, smug, self-centered, dismissive, condescending, liar, blame avoidance, closed-minded, toxic, hateful. The list goes on, but we're going to stop there. So what is the difference here? What is the difference between the person you most admire in this world and the person you most despise in this world? If you look at those lists, the difference is soft skills. Those people who are reliable and inspirational, clear communicators, they have something far and above those people who are self-centered, smug, arrogant, and dismissive. It's soft skills. Soft skills is what's going to make the difference between you getting that new job and not getting that new job. between you landing that new client and not landing that new client. This is why it's so important for not only new people who are just coming into the job industry, but also for your seasoned vets, the people who honestly do know most everything about everything in their field. They still need to be likable. They still need to be they still need to be inspirational, have clear communication. What is it that's most important when dealing with others? What is it that's most important to you? Well, if we go back to our list about things that are likable, how about reliable, inspirational, consistent, inclusive? These are the things that are most important with dealing with others. These are the things that are most important to you. These are also the things that are most important to other people. I'm going to ask you to think about what makes you uniquely, wonderfully you. We're not machines, we're people. We're human. We're beautiful, we're flawed, we're funny, we're sad. What makes you uniquely, wonderfully you? What is your X factor? I believe that mine is communication. I feel like I'm a very good communicator. I love words. I love telling stories. I love really bringing people into my world. So that's mine. But think about what is yours. It's going to take a while for you to think about that, or not. But think about it and hold it and keep it with you, and remember that that is what is your personal brand. Oops, see if I can get my mouse to work. I'm going to tell you a true story. I had a lunch with some friends. One of these friends, who's very high up in his community, said, I'm so important, so in demand, that I can treat people however I want. I was stunned. I was shocked. So were the other people who were having lunch with me. I stared at him and I said, really? Really? And he was all leaning back in his chair with his arms crossed, being all proud. And he said, yeah. And I said, what happens if tomorrow you wake up and all of that is gone? All of those people who come to you, all of those people who demand all of your expertise and your knowledge, what happens if tomorrow you wake up and every one of them is gone? What happens if your career is gone? What do you do? What do you have to fall back on? Sure, you have all of this knowledge, but nobody knows you. You're walking around faceless in the world and no one knows you. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to find you a new job. You're going to have to start over and build a new network. How do you do that? You've treated these people so badly. You've been so snide. So what do? You walk into a new job. You're going to interview with a person standing beside you who has the exact same knowledge as you, the exact same experience as you. What's going to make you the person that they hire over them? He looked at me and dropped his arms. His mouth was kind of agape. I think it stuck with him. You have to have soft skills to proceed. You have to be able to show your X factor to all of these new people. Think about the way you've been treating people. Think about if that next person, if that person that you've been treating however you want is the next person you interview with too. How's that going to go? I don't know. We'll see. Most employers feel that soft skills are better than technical skills. I get a lot of confused looks when I say this out loud. 85% of job success comes from having well-developed soft and people skills, and only 15% of success comes from the technical knowledge, the hard skills. This was all published in a study of engineering education. It was authored by Charles Rigborg Mann, and it was published in 1918. That's right, 1918. 100 years ago, and it still stands true. 100 years ago, think of all of the technological advances we've made in 100 years. Why does this still stand true today? Because it's easier to teach people the hard skills than it is to teach them to be a good person. It's easier to teach somebody how to write code than it is to teach them how to be a good team member. Communication skills is one of the top 3 most sought after qualities by job recruiters. Have you looked around lately at the jobs that are out there, the requirements? It's very interesting what's out there. So I did this. I looked on Indeed.com, which is a great place to look for a new job, right? So I looked at SQL DBA and Dev job requirements. Of course, we see candidates should be well versed in this and that and blah, 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 blah. These are requirements, remember. Senior SQL Server DBA, great communication skills required. The absolute top requirement there. I thought that was very telling. The Senior SQL Server DBA has a ton of knowledge. The thing that's the highest requirement for this particular job was great communication skills. Another one showed the ability to work effectively in a coordinating role across multiple disciplines. Ability to own and make key technical and organizational decisions. Demonstrated problem solving. Effective time management. Ability to manage competing priorities and requests. Supports and maintains a positive attitude and vision with peers, associates, and management. Ability to work efficiently with multiple departments. Open-minded, flexible, willing to adapt to changing situations. These are all soft skills that are requirements. These are job requirements. You don't have this, you don't get these jobs. So you know how when someone asks you questions, a lot of times we'll say, well, Google it. Well, I Googled it, and I found something really cool. Google reported that the top 7 characteristics of success at Google are all soft skills. They have 2 teams. They have their top scientists and an A team. These are the top minds, the top thinkers, the people who know the everything about the everything in their field. Then they have the normal people on the B team. These are employees who don't always have to be the smartest person in the room. These are the normal people who just go about life every day and don't have to be the smartest person in the room. They found that the best ideas, the most lucrative ideas, come from the B team. Why is that? You have your A team, your top scientists, you pay them the most because of their knowledge and their skills, but the B team employees, they come up with the best ideas. It's shown because the B team employees have those soft skills. They have the ability to get along with each other, equality, generosity, curiosity toward the ideas of your teammates, empathy and emotional intelligence. These are all of the top characteristics that shows what comes from the best teams at Google. Those are from the B team. We call this teamwork, which is being a good person. We're going to break it down. What are soft skills? The definition of soft skills is personal attributes that enable someone to interact effectively and harmoniously with other people. Okay, the short answer is here, it's how to be a team player, not a know-it-all jerk. There are many ways you can break down soft skills. We're going to talk about a few here, a few that I think are the most important. First off, communication. Communication is absolutely the most important soft skill to have, to hone, to hold, to forever share. Listening, flexibility, and adaptability is another one. Teamwork and collaboration, creativity, critical observation, negotiation, problem solving, conflict resolution. And the last but not least is determination. Let's go on to talk about communication. Think about the first person you saw today. What did you do? How did you greet them? Did you smile? Did you look them in the eyes? Did you nod? Did you say hello? Verbal, written, and nonverbal communication skills are a must when dealing with other people. There is not a day goes by that you don't communicate with someone else. Verbal, written, nonverbal communication. So you're in the grocery store and you see somebody having a bad day. You just look them in the eyes and you smile. That is nonverbal communication. Nonverbal communication, I believe, is the most important because it's your first line of defense. It's your first hello of the day. It's the setting for the day. It's a setting for the moment. Remember that body language can overpower your words. If you're talking to someone and you're trying to share your ideas with them, and they're standing there in front of you with a scowl on their face and their arms crossed, their body language is telling you, I have no care about what you say. I would rather be anywhere else. I'm just standing here because I haven't walked away. Know your audience. When I was working in the legal field, I had an attorney who wanted me to do all of these just amazing cutting edge things, but I didn't have the programs I needed to do it. So I thought about how best am I going to communicate to him that I need these programs. So I decided talking numbers and talking numbers and most importantly money to this attorney was the best way I was going to get my point across. So I made a presentation of how much time and money he pays me to do this work, to do this project. Then I introduced this new program that I wanted. It was $200. And I said, this is how much time and money you pay me to do this project now. If you pay the $200 for this program that I need, I will cut it in half. You will pay this much. I will spend this much time, and I'll have this much time left over for yet another project. So if you invest the $200 in this program, you will be investing in me, and I can do more for you. I can make more money for you. I got the program that afternoon. It was pretty cool. So that makes my point. Know your audience. Know who you're talking to. What is your point in communication? What is the point you're trying to get across? This is very important to me because I see this a lot. Making fun of or being short with someone who has less experience than you is demeaning. We see this a lot on the message boards. We see someone, a new person, ask a question. A senior member will come in and start talking to them about how they didn't ask the question right or how they should already know this. That is demeaning. It doesn't make you look smart to demean another person. It makes you look mean. And that spreads like wildfire. Everyone in the audience today is or was at one time new at something. Think about when you were new to something and you had questions. What would happen if someone came along and was so demeaning in their way of talking to you, telling you how stupid you are for not already knowing that answer? It would make you feel awful. So think about that when you see somebody asking a question who's a newbie. And also remember that you too will be a newbie at something else in your life. You won't want to be treated like that as well. How you make another person feel shows what kind of person you truly are. If you're out there answering on message boards or talking one-on-one with a person and you're being mean and telling them how they should know these things already, you're making that person feel demeaned. It doesn't make them a lesser person. It makes you a mean person. So keep that in mind in your communication. Like I said, nonverbal communication is, I believe, one of the most important things that people overlook, and one of the most important things that we need to keep in mind. How you look when other people are talking to you is just as important as how they look when they're talking to you. So if you look at these pictures, you can see how these people are showing how they feel in various and different ways. When you go to express an idea to someone and you're happy and you're excited about it and you're animated about it, chances are they're going to be more receptive. Now, if you walk up to someone and you're being animated and happy and you're doing everything you can to get your point across, and they are coming back with a face like the guy at the top left, that's on them, and maybe you should walk away before you look like the lady near the right side with steam coming out of her ears. And I always mention in my sessions, if you see someone so mad that steam is coming out of their ears, please video that and send it to me immediately. I mean, and then after that, get the medical care because, you know, there's something wrong. But the most important thing is get that to me because I want to see that video. I hope y'all are laughing because that makes me laugh. We're going to move on to listening, adaptability, and flexibility. Listen, listen, listen. When you're in a meeting, put your phone down and listen to what is going on. When you're in a meeting, stop thinking about what you're going to say next and listen to what the other person is saying. When you're listening to the other person, ask questions, especially when you're in a meeting with a client. Sit there and listen to them and then come back with, okay, what I'm hearing is this, or what I'm understanding you need is this. That opens you up to allow them to further explain their opinion if you don't understand exactly what they're getting or if they're putting it across. And it also shows that you are fully invested in what they're having to say. Now, this is not just, you know, listening to a client, but also listen in your team. You have your 9 a.m. stand-up meetings, and you're thinking about, oh gosh, I got to say this, I got to say that, I got to put all of this out there. Put that on hold for a moment until it's your turn to talk. Actively listen to what's going on. You listening to your team and replying with questions to their input will not only make you look better, but also allow you to grow in your understanding. Adaptability is a big one. This is especially important for the more seasoned professionals to demonstrate. You've heard the saying, you can't teach an old dog new trick, but you can teach an old dog new trick. Here's a story for you. I know of a junior DBA who went off to Past Summit, learned a ton of information that could help him, came back to work the next Monday and started telling the senior DBA about all of this great stuff that, you know, oh, we could fix this problem this way and this problem that way, and on and on and on. The senior DBA was completely unimpressed, completely didn't care what the junior DBA was saying because he didn't know anything. The senior DBA was absolutely unwilling to listen. So then what the junior DBA was went ahead and said, okay, you know what, I'm going to test this stuff out and I'm going to show you. So he tested this stuff out, not in production because we don't test in production. He tested this stuff out, went back to the senior DBA and said, I tested it. Look what I've done. There were great leaps made with what he had learned at Summit that the senior DBA didn't even know about. So the senior DBA really needed to be more adaptable and accept the change. Because let me tell you right now, if you don't know this already, technology changes by the minute. The way we find information changes by the minute. You have to accept that change and immediately look for creative solutions. If you don't, you're going to be stuck where that senior DBA still is stuck in his mind, doing things the hard way, taking way too long to get it done. Be open to changes, suggestions, and feedback. Just because you're a senior member of the team doesn't mean that the junior member of the team does not have a great idea or a solution. Listen to that junior member. And junior members, listen to that senior members. Work together. Listen together. Adapt together. The main thing is don't focus on being right. Focus on the goal at hand. Be open to each other's suggestions and feedback. Together, along with your communication, your listening, be adaptable. You can learn so much from each other. This is a great segue into teamwork and collaboration. I know a lot of people, especially very introverted people, hate working on a team. I'm a very extroverted person. Whenever I was in college, I hated working on team projects because most usually I was the one doing all the work while the other people went and partied. It's very frustrating. So let's move on to teamwork and collaboration. Think about this for a moment. Are you the person you would want to work with? That's going to take some self-reflection. We're going to put a star by that one, and we're going to come back to that one in a little bit. The people around you can make or break every situation. That is so very true in every situation. Your team needs to be solid. You need to work together. You know how a football team wins a Super Bowl? By working together. It's not just one person out there doing everything. It's a team working together. Communicate your ideas and listen to others' suggestions. Do not be afraid to communicate your ideas. Sometimes people get afraid to communicate your ideas. Don't be afraid to say something. And then don't be afraid to listen to other people's suggestions. We get differing opinions to make great things together. You need to play well with others. Don't think you know everything all of the time, because you know what? You don't. Don't think, oh, I don't know everything. That is wholly untrue. You have your own experiences, you have your own opinions, and those are worth sharing. Teamwork requires a leader. It requires a follower, a listener, a dreamer, a doer. You can be all 5 of those. You need to know when to take the lead and when to follow. A great team will work together if you have people taking different parts of it and putting it together. Let someone else, if you're constantly the lead on a project, ask someone else, would you like to lead this project? You have great experience in this. That allows that person to then be the leader, and you can be a follower. And you've got that person over here who listens, and what they do is they listen to everybody, and then they come in, and then they are able to say, I heard this, and I heard this, and I heard this, and I heard this. You're a team doing all these things together. Know when to take the lead and know when to follow. That will show not only management, not only your client, but also your other team members that you are willing to work together for a strong, cohesive team. This moves on into creativity and critical observation. Explore unique solutions. Oftentimes, we have great ideas and they just sit there. We don't want to share these ideas. Share those ideas. Share those creative ideas. They may not be right for this solution, but they may be right for a different project. Share those ideas. Explore new ways to do things. If you have information that you have to hand in to a company, send them a summary instead of just raw data. If you came to me and I ask you for, where's the such and such on so and so, right? And then you come in and you hand me a spreadsheet with numbers, I'm going to look at you and I'm going to say, really? Really? But your coworker comes in and says, here are the numbers. This is what this means. I've tracked this down. This is where we could go with this. This is what I see as a problem. They're using their critical observation and their ability to make sense out of bits and pieces. That has saved me so much time, and that also shows that they are fully invested in this project and fully invested in my company. The person who handed me in the data, I'm going to hand it back to them and I'm going to say, come back with me with a report, a real report. Tell me what these numbers mean. The person who came in and handed me a summary, I'm going to be saying, that is a great job. You are a go-getter. And next time it's time for a promotion, I'm going to remember this person went above and beyond. They created an accurate narrative and instructed me and provided me direction. That's a soft skill that is amazing, and it takes how much of your time? To show how invested you are? It takes not as much time as you would think. Your actions always speak louder than words. You come in and throw an Excel spreadsheet on my desk, that's going to say something. That's going to say that you really don't care and you want to get out of here to go have beer at lunch. Use your ideas to make change. Like I said, share those ideas. Critical thinking. Sit down and try to figure out how best to make this information that you have important and flourish like flowers, right? And then hand that bouquet in. Don't just drop thought bombs. I've said this several times, and I thought it was a saying that everybody knew, but I get this look of like, what's a thought bomb? Thought bombs are when you're trying to give a solution and someone sits in the corner and goes, no. Well, how about we, nope. Well, then let's, don't think so. Here's an idea then. Are you even trying? Thought bombs are when you say something negative and don't give anything to back it up. Don't be dropping your thought bombs. That doesn't help anybody. What does that do? It makes you look like you're uninterested, because when you're dropping thought bombs, chances are you're over there in a corner with your arms crossed and that smug look on your face going, no, next please. Okay, so no, that won't work. Tell me how it won't work. I want to know how that won't work. We're going to move on to negotiation, problem solving, and conflict resolution. Come to an agreement. Come to an agreement. This seems foreign to us this day and age, coming to an agreement. You know what's really awesome is you can have a completely different opinion than me, and I'm fine with that. I will listen to your opinion. I will either agree with it or I will disagree with it. But I still value you and your opinion. You and I can come to an agreement, and that's what we need to do. Remember to voice your ideas on problem solving. You're in a big group of people. Let's say your team. Your team is together trying to figure out this latest problem. You have ideas, voice your ideas. Offer suggestions. This will show you're fully invested. It will show that you are willing to put some ideas out there, that you're not afraid to tackle a problem. This shows strength and confidence. If you're able to, sit back and listen and negotiate win-win solutions. Lance has this really great idea over here, and John has this really great idea over here, and Alan has this really great idea over here, and they're fighting about whose best idea it is. I'm listening to all three of them, and I'm picking out this part from Lance's, picking out this part from John's, and picking out this part from Alan's, and I go to them and I say, hey guys, you all three have great ideas. This is what I've picked out. What do you think about this? I can then negotiate win-win solutions. I made a point in one of my presentations to don't be afraid ever to voice your idea. Even if you think, oh gosh, they may not like this, or oh gosh, this may be wrong, I don't know. Voice that idea. Because that idea can then light a fire to another idea, or that idea could be the answer. I had a person say, well, what if you just offer up stuff that you know is wrong just to be funny? Offering up suggestions you know won't work just to be obtuse is a jerk skill. That is not a soft skill. Don't do that. You're wasting everyone's time. There's a difference between jerk skills and soft skills. It would be a lot of fun to make a whole presentation on jerk skills, but it wouldn't be very productive. It would be fun. Maybe we should do that. It would be fun. I've saved determination and decisiveness for the last. Determination is a slippery slope. Look at yourself and define what determination looks to you. This can be very telling, and it's personal to each person. There's a fine line between being seen as a pushy jerk and being seen as a goal-oriented, upstanding team member. Do you know what defines that fine line? Soft skills. Your ability to communicate your ideas. If you come in throwing chairs around, fully determined to make everybody agree with you, you're going to be a jerk. If you come in saying, I have this idea, listen to me fully, and let's discuss, you're going to be seen as a person with determination. The main goal here is to stay focused on the goal at hand and continue to work toward that result. You don't always have to be right to be determined. A lot of times I'll have conversations with people, and my ultimate goal is to get them to agree with me, right? That's all of our ultimate goal, right? Agree with me, agree with me, agree with me. What my ultimate goal at the end should be, let's work together to find an answer to our problem. Let's be determined together. Let's use our soft skills to show our determination and decisiveness. Stay focused on that ultimate goal and continue to work together toward the result. Be willing to look at information critically and weigh the good and the bad. Anticipate consequences. This is something that I have found was very easy for me. I'm a forethinker, so I sit down and I think, okay, I have this issue. What is good? What is bad? What can I anticipate? What would be good and be bad about? But I found that that's not always inherent to a lot of people. That's just, I guess, my superpower, my superhuman power. Being indecisive is often viewed as a hindrance to the team. I'll tell you a story about a person who was a really great team member, a really great person, super smart, had fantastic ideas, but was unwilling to share those ideas for fear of rejection. Had really wonderful ideas. He left the company very frustrated because instead of saying, hey, I have this idea and here it is, he would sit in the corner and say, whatever, whatever. He was indecisive and he was not willing to share. He left the company frustrated when he could have been a very strong member of the team. This is a time when I say take a look at yourself. Right now is a really good time to do some soul searching. We've talked about all of these different situations, and we've talked about how to do well at these things and how it doesn't look great for these things. And right now is a really good time to do some soul searching. You remember I asked you earlier, are you the person you want to work with? How about are you the person on your team who's always has problems with other people? Are you constantly frustrated that someone shows up late? Are you the person constantly going to HR with someone because somebody did something that hurt your feelings? Are you constantly upset with Sarah over there because she smacks her gum? Think about the person.
Angela, let me just say, Sarah's a real pain in the butt. Okay, you may now return to your program.
Okay. So, are you the person on your team who always has problems with other people? Think about how you could possibly, instead of being so angry at those other people, help them with their soft skills. Do others often have a problem with you? Are you constantly getting called into HR because you hurt Sarah's feelings for yelling at her for chomping her gum too loud? Work on your communication skills. Think, oh, you know what? I could have said, Sarah, this really annoys me, and if you could please keep it at a minimum or choose somewhere else. Or there's great ways to handle these problems through your soft skills. If you handle these problems through using your soft skills, the problems are going to go away. And I put that with a caveat because, that's not true for every situation. Sometimes the other person just has to go away. Are you the kind of person that you want to work with? I do this thing where I sit down and I make a 3D projection of myself. I think of myself as not myself. I take myself out of myself and I make this 3D projection. And I say, okay, this is what I do. This is the way I work. These are the things that I do. And I put this 3D projection of who I am in front of me. And I say, what parts of me are good? What parts of me are bad? What parts of me can I expound upon? What can I make better? What do I need to stop doing? I want to be the kind of person that I want to work with. It's harmonious and peaceful, and it takes me to my happy place when I am the kind of person that I want to work with. Are you often hearing no when applying for jobs, raises, promotions, etc.? If so, go right back up to that bullet point. Make a 3D projection of yourself and try to figure out what it is that's blocking you from these opportunities. Sometimes It's just the situation that you're in. You need to acknowledge that and decide to stay there or move on. A lot of times it's something you don't even know that you are doing. Let's go on to be it, don't try to fake it. Do you have any close friends? If you have a close friend, ask a friend or mentor how you come across to other people. You're having problems getting raises at work, promotions at work, you're being overlooked. Go to your friend and say, I'm having these problems. Please, let's explore together the way I communicate, the things I'm doing. Here's a list of soft skills that I got from Angela Tidwell. Go through these with me and see where I'm lacking, and let's work on this together. A friend or a mentor, either way. Think about, is this the image you are trying to portray? Ask your friend how I come across to other people, and then come back to yourself and say, oh gosh, is this what I wanted to portray? Is this yes or is this no? Do not ask the internet. I mean, you can ask the internet, but you will be met with a whole lot of stuff you don't want to hear. Remember that people will see through the bull hockey. I love that term. Sometimes it may take a bit of time, but your true person will always show because that is who you are. Also, remember, you are the person you portray on social media. If you get out there and you're being all snide and quirky and you think it's funny, you are to everyone else the snide person who is not funny. You are being mean. So I've given you all this information. I'm going to tell you really quickly how to cultivate and hone your soft skills. Take a course in soft skills. Join Toastmasters. Visit your local user groups. Attend lunches and team building network events. I know a lot of people I've asked, do you do that? And they're like, no. You know what? HR notices. Your other team members notice when you're the one who never attends the lunches, the team buildings, or the networking events. These things help you be a better team member. Do these things. If you are terrified to do them, find that person in the corner who also is terrified to do them and stand next to that person. You will then make another friend who you can commiserate with on being terrified to do these things, and pretty sure other people will start joining you over there, and you will have your network of friends on your team who are just as uncomfortable at networking events as you, but you're there. Seek out mentors and friends, like I said. Talk to strangers. The biggest thing that I got from my Toastmasters meetings was to today, when you leave, talk to at least one person you would have never spoken with. Anybody. And if you just cannot muster up words, the next person you see, you look them in the eyes and you smile. Nonverbal communication. That will open you up to amazing things. It will just keep growing and growing every day. Talk to one person you would not normally talk to. Volunteer, volunteer, volunteer. Volunteering is so good for your soul. It's so good for your heart. You can volunteer at anything. Read to children. My favorite thing to read is Dr. Seuss. It's amazing. It's funny. You get tongue twisted. The kids laugh. You're really stepping out of your box when you do these things. They can only help you with your communication, your networking, your teamwork, team building skills. Laugh at yourself. Laugh, laugh, laugh at yourself. I have blue hair. I laugh at myself. It makes me happy. It makes me a more open person. You don't have to dye your hair blue, but it is cool. Let's do a quick soft skills overview, and then we'll take some questions. Like I said, soft skills is how to be a team player, not a know-it-all jerk. We've covered communication, listening, flexibility, adaptability, teamwork, creativity, negotiation, and determination. I'm going to go ahead and open this up real quick. Does anybody have any questions?
Sorry about that. Yeah, actually, so we have a couple.
Okay.
So, yeah, if you're, my lunch actually just got here. Thank you, Ellen. I've been in a quiet room the whole time. If you're an introvert, how do you recommend we approach teamwork? This is clearly something that's not natural to someone who's an introvert. So how do you recommend that they take steps to collaborate?
Okay. And you said towards networking?
No. Just the question came in when you were on a slide about not being that jerk in the room, and you said something about I get it if you're an introvert, it's not natural. That you're not an introvert, which I personally know you're not. So if you are an introvert, if you are an introvert, how do you approach teamwork? How do you approach learning to be a collaborator?
Okay, great. If you're an introvert and you're on a team, chances are there's at least one other introvert. Reach out to that person, even if it's just through an email, and say, I have some ideas. Will you talk with me? Two introverts talking together will help you become a little more extroverted in your introvertedness. And like I said, for the networking, for the team building exercises, do go. They're uncomfortable, but also stand over by the person who is an introvert as well. Talk to some of your extroverted friends, extroverted people, and talk to them one-on-one and say, I'm having a problem getting my ideas out there, and really push the boundaries on your introvertedness and reach out for help. Reach out to a friend, reach out to a mentor, reach out to someone else on your team and say, I'm afraid, and have them help you not be afraid, not have them help you understand that it's okay to say words. And I hope that is I hope I'm getting my point across. I hope I'm communicating well. But that is, I've seen that work over and over and over. Someone very introverted has a friend who's an extrovert, and they say to that friend, help me be less introverted.
Okay. So regarding indecisive people, how do you pull those people in and get them to make a decision without being a jerk? Just for the record, I probably just look at them and yell, decide something. So that's probably not the advice you're going to get.
I'm sorry, you cut out a little bit on the question. Could you say it again?
Okay, regarding indecisive people, how do you pull those people in and get them to make a decision without being a jerk?
That all comes back to delivery. Okay, Ree, I need a decision from you. This is what we have. Let's work through the things that you don't like the most first and work backwards. That would be my best advice dealing with someone who's indecisive. It just takes a lot of staying on them. Just, okay, you know what? It's hard for me to get a yes from you, so let's start with the no's and work backwards till we get that yes. Be determined.
I have a question that may not be entirely clear because I'm not sure I understand it. If your supervisor doesn't want to teach you something nor want to give you space to grow, but in the end, I guess it says at evaluation is seen at worst, how do you approach them, or how do you deal with that officially? Do you have any suggestions?
Whew, that's a tough one.
I don't even know that it's completely and totally on target. So I think my answer, if your supervisor doesn't want to teach you something or give you space to grow, then you're going to have to do it on your own time. You're going to have to attend a SQL Saturday. You're going to have to attend a webinar like this one. That may not be something your company's ever going to deal with, even if you went to HR.
Right. Yes, absolutely.
So, I mean, obviously you're at this webinar, so you get that. And I recognize your name, so I'm pretty sure you've been on webinars before. So you're going to have to do this by yourself until you're ready to go to another company.
And you know what? I'm going to add to that. You are never by yourself. Reach out to someone in the community. This is a big community. Someone out here will help you. Will help you learn what it is you want to learn.
Okay, so I agree with that. So I would find a webinar. I mean, not a webinar. I've lost my mind. Find a mentor. And this person says that they're an introvert. So my advice is to actually find a mentor that isn't quite as much of an extrovert as Angela and I are. I think finding a mentor like me would probably make you uncomfortable because I literally would drag you into the middle of the room. So find a mentor that's a balance of what you're missing that will help you receive training or learn a skill set or in little pieces come out of your shell or join the group a little bit. You don't have to be in the middle of the room. You just don't need to be in the corner. So baby steps. I think once you get past that boss thing, that they're not helping you. You don't have to be a speaker at a SQL Saturday to attend a SQL Saturday and get something out of it. You can attend webinars and learn things. So there are ways of doing that without jumping into the deep end of the pool.
Very true. Very, very true.
Okay, we are at the end of our hour. Angela, thank you so very, very much for doing this. Let me check my attendee list. You guys don't go away just yet. Let me check my attendee list and see if the people that I picked are still here. And they are. So Carrie Little and David. The email address that you registered with, expect with a couple of days to get an email from Pass with an Amazon gift card from Century One and from Redgate because they are our sponsors today. So those are the two people that won. But thank you everybody for attending. We really, really appreciate it. And I hope to have this webinar uploaded to YouTube by the end of the day today. Okay.
Thank you all so very much. And at the end of the presentation, you can also see links to info and help, and it is available on the. It will be available on the slides.
Oh, I totally forgot you have the slide. So awesome. Thanks everybody. Next month, Tracy Baggiano, Intro to the Query Store. Get registered for it. That way, even if you can't attend, you get the email later with the link to the video. That's always the smartest way to do it. Thanks again and have a fantastic day, everybody.